Many of my viewers and followers and friends have asked me to talk about Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, specifically about his meeting with the President William Samoei Ruto. And the question is simple. Has Uhuru Kenyatta joined Ruto? That question we don't have an answer to. Because Ruto could have been making moves, overtures, trying to woo Uhuru Kenyatta. Up to this point, we don't know whether Uhuru Kenyatta has accepted or not. Or in fact, whether indeed it was an attempt at that. Because it could as well have been just friends meeting together, having nyama choma. So that question must be left where it is. But even with that question being left where it is, there are issues that people are raising and seeking answers. People are saying, supposing Uhuru Kenyatta indeed joins William Samoei Ruto, what would the politics of this country look like? Especially 2027. What will be the feeling of a majority of the people in this country? How will this affect Uhuru Kenyatta? How will history record his move? And the other side of the coin, supposing actually he has said no to William Ruto. Let's start with the possibility that he's going to work with William Ruto. What are the consequences at the national level? There are those who automatically think with Raila Odinga and Uhuru Kenyatta by his side, Ruto is assured of 2027. Because they believe Raila, together with Mudavadi, will control the western part of this country and bring the votes. And that Uhuru Kenyatta will help salvage the situation on the mountain. That more Mount Kenya people would vote for Ruto than would otherwise have been the case if Uhuru didn't support him. Let's look at that.
Step into Brooklyn Boutique in Juja today at JB Store's first floor in Juja. Discover the latest women's fashion in jewelry, clothes, shoes, bags, and purses. Call us today at 0721 348 629. Brooklyn Boutique, where style meets elegance.
First, the gamer community, in reaction to that meeting, has made it very clear that they are not boarding. They have said, and in no uncertain terms, that Uhuru will not convince them to board the Ruto plane. They are not boarding. They have said many things, including even if Jomo Kenyatta himself came, they will not listen. They have made it categorically clear that Uhuru can join Ruto, but they are not following him. They are not following him. The anger around the mountain is so much. The people of the mountain are so bitter that there is the really danger that they could transfer that bitterness and anger to Uhuru Kenyatta if he joined William Ruto. People who see things in this manner would suggest that Ruto should get the support of Uhuru if he must, but not as direct as he got Raila's vote. It will make people more angry than they would otherwise be on the mountain and beyond. And therefore, the thinking that Uhuru's entry could save Ruto on the mountain is dead on arrival. It doesn't work. There's a bigger problem, the bigger challenge. The bigger challenge here is this. If indeed Ruto is joining hands with Raila Odinga and Uhuru Kenyatta, the people of this country are likely to react badly. The people of this country will argue this way. If these people think they can play around with us, that they can always come together to abort any move we make to change this country, let us show them we have the ultimate power. Uhuru, Raila, and Ruto in one corner will also tell the people of this country that the hustler narrative started by William Ruto, the dynasty versus the hustler, that was the predominant narrative in 2022, was actually hatching. It was going through the gestation period, and now it has hatched. That the child has been born. That what Ruto started in 2022 has now come of age. That it is now evident that indeed it is true that we are a country of dynasties and hustlers. And that the members of this privileged class, the dynasties, have gone on top of the mountain for all of us to see them. And when people look up, they can see William Samoei Ruto surrounded by the other hustlers, the other members of dynasty. On one side of William Ruto is Raila Molo Odinga, whose lineage goes back to the first Vice President of the Republic of Kenya, the doyen of opposition, Jaramogi Oginga Odinga. On the other side, there is Uhuru Kenyatta, son to the founding father of this country, the first president of the Republic of Kenya, Mr. Jomo Kenyatta. And of course, with their cheerleaders. And they will be telling the people of this country, open your eyes, here we are. You people are on your own. And the people on their own can move in such a manner that the tsunami that will hit the trio of Ruto, Raila, and Uhuru perhaps has not been witnessed anywhere in any democracy in this world. So there's that danger that if indeed Uhuru is out to support Ruto in the manner in which Raila did, it will cause more damage to the Ruto camp than any benefit it will bring. That is as simple as that. But is it also not possible that perhaps Ruto tried and Uhuru said no? That would make a lot of sense because Uhuru is a statesman. Uhuru is a politician. He understands this game. If you look at his past, at some point he was with Raila Odinga. He was in the opposition to Kibaki, leader of the opposition in parliament. Then they went into the no referendum, the orange versus banana. He was with Raila Odinga and a very popular person among the Kenyans. But as we moved to the election of 2027, Uhuru did what other opposition leaders don't do. He joined Kibaki to help him be re-elected. That was a very strategic move. And he has continued over time to make moves that indicate he understands the politics. And therefore, it will be difficult for me to understand how Uhuru would be blind to the reality, with all my apologies to the unsighted countrymen. How would he not be able to see the anger around the mountain? How would he go against the grain? That the anger directed at William Ruto is far greater. In fact, there's no comparison. It's far greater than what people had against Raila Odinga in 2027 around the mountain. And therefore, on the balance of probability, I have a problem seeing a situation in which Uhuru Kenyatta, with all this in mind, could agree to work with Ruto at this particular time. But there's a third angle to this. There are people who think Uhuru could have a direct interest in the politics of this country. And his brother's name, George Moho, is mentioned, either as a presidential candidate or a running mate to some presidential candidate with a view to taking over leadership in the future. And that could explain Uhuru's current visibility on the political scene. All this remains to be seen as we usher in the new year. We pray for wisdom to prevail among our leaders, especially Uhuru Kenyatta, William Ruto, and Raila Odinga. And my free and solicited advice is to William Samoei Ruto. If Uhuru joins your camp, he will destroy your camp. Having Raila around you, Mr. President William Samoei Ruto, is bad enough. Bringing Uhuru Kenyatta is like completely destroying whatever little hope you have of becoming the president in the election of 2022.
Step into Brooklyn Boutique in Juja today at JB Stores, first floor in Juja. Discover the latest women's fashion in jewelry, clothes, shoes, bags, and purses. Call us today at 0721 348 629. Brooklyn Boutique, where style meets elegance.